So if you would very quickly turn to Romans 12, chapter 2. You know the text. That's one of the reasons I tried to pick it, because I wanted it to be familiar to you instead of something that you weren't familiar with. But we can take charge of our lives by taking charge of our minds. You know that, don't you? I mean, we talk about in Isaiah chapter 55, when we talk about that, it speaks of the Word of God not returning void into the thing which it is sent, but it accomplishing the thing in which it is sent to. So that we understand that the Word of God is, according to Hebrews 4:12, is a living thing. It is a powerful thing. It is not just words on a paper, but it is variable levels to the Word of God. In one way, it helps us understand the way God thinks. In another way, it prepares us for receiving and going beyond what is written and going into places and living in places that are supernatural. But it's difficult if you don't know, because then you don't know what the enemy's saying, what's God's saying. You start to get tricked in various ways. But when you know the Word of God, your house can't be blown over by every big bad wolf that comes along. There's plenty of them. Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, do you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. Verse 2 is the text. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed through the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And I know that text has been preached in many different ways, and I hate to mess up, whatever anybody's perspective, but if you have learned or looked at Greek any at all, you understand that it's not speaking about three different levels. It's giving expletives of what it means to be in the will of God. It's good, man. It's acceptable unto God. It's like the mature place. It's the perfect place that God has for you. It's a continuation of expression in the verse. But I guess it preaches real good to make it into the good and acceptable and perfect. And I've heard many good messages on it, but problem is when God can use that in Revelation and bring something out of it. But technically it's saying as your mind begins to be renewed, then you're able to prove. You understand, you see authentic, you understand authentic, you know what it means, you know what it's supposed to be. You catch yourself when you make excuses for the Word. You catch yourself when you're speaking contrary to things, because you begin to put it in you. That's why I talked about, I'm always quoting the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience. I grew up in a household and my dad cussed a lot. So for me, I had to carry around the fruit of the Spirit in my pocket so that it didn't come out of me when I was angry. So I had to pull it up and read them. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness. I can still see it in my hand. It's not there. But I know them. I learned them. That tells you how many times I had to read it before I got it, And I'm still quoting it often today at various times, but for various reasons. Because it's a filter to keep my character in a spot that submits to the Spirit of God in obedience to the Word of God. I could just read the Bible, though, and say, okay, I got it, but that's not enough. I have to take that. I have to make it as something that's workable. That's why the old-timers used to call it working the Word. I got to take something, and then I've got to start. When it comes, studying it is no good until I'm right in the middle of the issue. That's when my faith is tested to whether I'm going to, and if I have it right there in front of me, I judge myself. I look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that, look at it. I look back and forth at the things that are given. I have to make a choice. I can put it in my pocket and say, forget God. Bunk it, I'm going to do what I want to. Nah! Or I can sit there and say, you know what? This hurts, but I'm not going to do it.